It's been 3 years since the price of gasoline in the valley has been as low as it is today. 90.9 at this Exxon station at 35th Avenue in Peoria. But there's hardly anyone here. And the reason is that across the street, regular is selling for less than 90 cents a gallon, and unleaded less than 95. In the gasoline business, 89.9 is now a magic number. It has people lined to the street and to the cash register. Before the day is out, this Arco station will sell more than 10,000 gallons of gas. 2 years ago at this time, how many gallons would you sell?
1,500 in a day.
1,500 in a day, and you'll sell 10,000 today?
There's been a gigantic increase in gas sales due to Arco's pricing and our pricing.
You're selling a lot of gas. Are you making any money?
A little bit, enough to keep us going. Basically, we're ahead of the game.
Staying ahead of the game is not something Dick Hoffman is thinking about these days. He would just like to catch up. The guy across the street is packed. Is there anything you can do about it?
Nothing.
You're selling gas right now apparently for what you're paying for, right?
Pretty close.
If you had to compete with him, you'd be losing money, right?
Right.
So what can you do?
Hope and pray that Exxon does something.
Arco now sells gas to its dealers for 2 cents a gallon less than Exxon. For Hoffman to match Arco's price, he would have to sell below cost. And on the other side of Hoffman, at this hotbed of gasoline pumps, is Thrifty. When Arco drops its price, so does Thrifty. Today, this station will sell 20,000 gallons of gas. Dick Hoffman, at 90.9 a gallon, will be lucky if he sells 4,000. Though a lot of gas is being sold, a lot of money isn't being made. The only real winner is the consumer. When's the last time you've seen it this low?
Shoot, I wasn't driving. I don't know. It's been a long time.
Is it worth waiting in line for?
Yes, it definitely is.
In just 2 years, the price of gasoline has dropped 30 cents a gallon. And even those in the business have no idea where prices will go from here.
It's been my opinion that gasoline is going to be back up. However, it was my opinion that gasoline would never go to over $1 a gallon because I didn't feel it was justified. And the only thing that did that was the greed of the oil companies. And then I was of the opinion that they would never get it below $1 a gallon because of the greed of the oil companies.
Kerry Kilbride, News Center 10.
Police officers were directing traffic at some downtown intersections this morning after power to the area was knocked out for about 3 hours. The problem was here, in some switching and control cabinets at this APS substation close to downtown. A fire broke out in the cabinets at about 3:30, triggering the blackout.
The fire department fought that fire and put it out. About 4:45, another fire broke out, and we lost another 5 circuits. We had a total of 10 that served the downtown area out at one particular time.
The only hospital within the outage area was Phoenix Memorial, where officials say the power was on and off, but the situation never got critical because the hospital was able to keep functioning on a backup power source.
The cause of the fires is still under investigation, but APS officials say they do have a theory.
One possibility is that we had a fault on one of the circuits, which then went back to the cabinet here and caused the initial fire. There's a possibility also that the water from fighting the initial fire caused the second outbreak.
Power was restored to most of downtown by 6:30 this morning, but by late morning, the city's Plaza Municipal building was still in the dark, and the structure was closed, allowing workers who had gathered to go home. That left no one in the city water and sewer department to accept delinquent bills. However, officials say those bills may be paid on Monday, and people won't have to worry about their water being shut off in the meantime. Jim Almberg, News Center 10.
If you travel from the East Valley cities of Tempe, Mesa, or Chandler, north to Scottsdale or beyond, there's no easy way to do it. Mill Avenue and Hayden Road are available when the Salt River is dry. Rural turns into the often congested Scottsdale Road.
Well, the eastern leg of the outer loop could solve a lot of that. When it's built, it'll run from the Superstition Freeway here in Tempe along Price Road and north into Scottsdale along Pima Road.
But there's a problem. The outer loop could end up congested itself. The State Board of Transportation is considering making the loop a so-called expressway, which means some crossroads and stoplights, not a real freeway. In Tempe, city officials say they want a freeway.
I think that obviously transportation it's a problem everywhere in the state, but it is a real problem and a real issue here in Tempe because of the volumes of traffic. It's horrible around rush hour, in the evening and in the morning, and I think people have really concerned themselves with that.
And Mayor Mitchell says too much traffic is being funneled onto surface streets in his city, traffic that should be moving through Tempe and not interfering with businesses and homes. The State Transportation Department says it understands the desire for a freeway to get traffic moving, but
the funds we'll be using are limited. There's going to be a lot of pressures to try and use those in a lot of different places. We just have to look at the balance sheet when we calculate what the freeway is going to cost in Tempe and see if we can address that early on or not.
Lammers admits a full-fledged freeway would move 2 to 3 times as much traffic as the expressway. Among motorists we talked to, the feeling is nearly unanimous. They say they're willing to spend the money, just guarantee them the freeway soon.
We need a way of better transportation in this valley. We have no way of getting from one side of the valley to the other. I'm in business here, and it's the most difficult thing we fight on a daily basis.
Spend anything just to get this traffic out of the way. I don't care how big, low the budget is or anything. They should just spend the money and get it fixed.
I just drove out to Mesa and it took me an hour to do 15 miles back and forth.
The Transportation Department hopes to hold hearings on the issue next month. One possible stumbling block, they'll need more right-of-way in the Victory Acres neighborhood. Ron Hoon, News Center 10.
There were visual indicators everywhere that the word got out. The fiesta would go on this year, minus alcoholic libations. Now, you can call it good publicity of the Arizona State University policy, or call it the least likely day of the year to want to overindulge. Call it what you may, the thermos bottles and coolers and cans were few and far between, and those that made an appearance made a brief one.
If they go through the gate, they'll be escorted right back outside the gate.
ASU campus police just beyond the gates of the stadium enforced the clearly posted regulation.
I think a lot of people are cooperating. There'll be some sneaking in, but it's cutting down, I'd say 70% of the people.
Nevertheless, there were those who, for one reason or another, disagreed with the rule.
I think it's kind of rotten. I mean, we're just here to have a good time. No alcohol, they say, but I can't see why you can't bring in containers of soda or a lunch or whatever.
I sort of have a sore throat and a cold, so I brought some hot toddy, some hot water for tea, and hot chocolate. No alcohol whatsoever.
But sore throat or not, all obvious containers were stopped at the gates.
Why don't you taste it? It's pure coffee.
So this is the point of no return. While ASU police say they have no legal authority to search containers, they do have the authority and did exercise it to turn back any containers they suspected that might contain alcohol. Johnny Banks, TV 10 News.
It's not that the city of Phoenix hasn't always had the problem of transients. It's that the problem is growing, becoming more complicated recently for several reasons.
We have a seasonal influx here, and that's occurred. It's warmer here than in other places, and every winter we have people that migrate here, the transient that migrates here because it's warm here and they can live outdoors.
Another factor is redevelopment in the downtown area known as the Deuces. Construction there has forced many downtown transients northward into neighborhoods where they are more visible. And of course, there is the ailing economy, forcing a new group of people to the street in greater numbers.
We have seen this year, though, is what appears to be an influx of families within these groups that we've not seen in the past.
The different organizations now addressing the problem with transients in Phoenix all agree on one thing.
The poor and the city needs attention. I think it's going to take the combined effort of the federal, the state, the county, city, as well as nonprofit organizations. I think we cannot afford to just stand by and let these people suffer.
The problem is it has to be shared by a lot of people. And I think a lot of people recently have taken and feel that it's a city council problem and it's a police problem, and it goes way beyond that.
It's not just Phoenix. The problem exists all over, but at least in other cities, like in Frisco and LA, they have addressed themselves to the problem.
When students begin classes on Monday, many may face more decisions than just which classes to take. For out-of-state students, another decision may be whether or not to buy Arizona license plates.
Out-of-state students are in a particularly difficult situation.
there are gray areas in the law, and they're very definitely in one of those gray areas.
The largest gray area seems to be employment.
I think if they work, then they'll have to get the Arizona plates.
Is that part-time or full-time?
I'd say full-time. I'm really not sure on that.
Not as I've heard that if you get a job like off campus and you are a resident and you do need Arizona plates and an Arizona driver's license.
Whether or not you pay the $500 fine if you get stopped is like a game of Russian roulette. It depends on who stops you or the judge that hears the case.
They should understand that that is the Motor Vehicle Division's policy, and the law does not specifically exempt them. And there may be some other interpretations out there among other enforcement agencies and other judicial authorities.
While ASU police say they will cite only students holding full-time jobs, the same does not hold true for the Tempe Police Department. Its officials say it's up to the discretion of the officer. Mesa is still waiting for a decision on the intent of the law, and Scottsdale and Phoenix say they will cite students with full-time jobs. In the meantime, students remain confused.
Are you sure that you have to get the plates?
No, I'm not exactly sure how the law works. I've just seen those commercials on TV.
So what is the safest thing to do?
If I were going to work as an out-of-state student for any substantial amount of time at all that would approach full-time employment, I would definitely get plated in the state of Arizona.
Kimberly Geis, News Center 10. Big-name computer companies aren't monkeying around when it comes to personal computers. The billion-dollar business anticipates that by the end of this decade, computers will be as common as TV sets in American homes.
3-year-olds can use it to learn their ABCs.
But can the parents who buy it learn how to use it?
Oh, I was very confused. I didn't even want to take the courses. I was rather afraid of them, to be truthful about it.
Once you get over your computer phobia and are ready to buy, how do you determine which system to buy or how much you should spend on it?
The main thing to do is to find a manufacturer who has a good reputation.
Computer experts agree that you now get more memory and features for your money, but it hasn't always been that way. Last year, this model would have sold for $2,700. You can now buy it for $1,500. But some people say waiting is not the best thing to do.
Cost will come down to a certain point, but I'm not sure that waiting, what they lose in information and knowledge will outweigh what they gain by having a reduced price.
Kimberly Geis, News Center 10.